Imagine for a moment that you're driving a car at 100 miles an hour. The steering wheel is loose, the tires are bald, and the engine is making a sound that haunts your nightmares. Yet, you keep your foot pressed on the accelerator, eyes fixed on the horizon, convinced that speed alone will get you to your destination. This is not a scene from an action movie. This is the terrifying daily reality for thousands of businesses hurtling towards an invisible cliff. They are moving fast, but their very foundation is crumbling beneath them. And when they finally crash, it won't be because of a formidable competitor. It will be because 4 internal battlefields, the core pillars of their existence, collapsed long ago. This isn't abstract management theory. This is the autopsy report of a dying company. And the most chilling part? This same silent decay is happening in your own life right now. Because a business, stripped down to its essence, is just an individual amplified. Its survival goals mirror our own. It must be healthy. But corporate health, much like personal health, is a two-part equation. The first part is the physical body, the cash flow, the equipment, the office space. The second part, infinitely more critical, is the mental and spiritual health, the culture, the vision, the very soul of the organization. Most leaders spend their lives obsessing over the physique, pumping iron into revenue while starving the soul. They don't realize that a strong body with a weak spirit is just a well-dressed corpse. And the greatest enemy to that organizational spirit isn't the rival across the street. It's the people inside the building. Visualize a company as a series of concentric circles. At the very center, the nucleus, is you, the founder, the leader. The next ring out holds your kindred spirits, the core team you would trust with the company's life. The third ring is your broader employee base, the people who show up for a paycheck to execute a vision. The outermost ring contains your customers and partners. The fatal disease begins when you, the person at the center, spend all your energy courting the outer ring, schmoozing clients, wooing partners while neglecting, distrusting, or micromanaging the rings closer to you. You're frantically decorating the fence while the house is on fire. This creates a vacuum of trust, a corruption of culture that seeps into every decision, every product, and every customer interaction. This leads us to a brutal, universal truth. If an individual fails to achieve internal satisfaction and alignment, they will fail in all external relationships. And if a business fails to achieve internal health and happiness, it will fail in every external battle. Its products will feel hollow, its marketing will ring false, and its customer service will be a scripted nightmare. So what are these 4 decisive battlefields that determine life or death? The first battlefield, and the absolute soul of any enterprise, is the customer. Not as a line item on a sales report, not as a data point in a CRM. The customer as a human being with irrational desires, deep-seated pains, and evolving needs that cry out for resolution. A healthy company doesn't just have customers. It cultivates a tribe of loyal advocates with a high lifetime value. It masters the art of retaining customer happiness. An unhealthy company treats customers like transactions, like prey to be hunted once and discarded. It's a parasitic relationship, not a symbiotic one. The metric isn't just new customers acquired. The real metric is percentage of customers who would be genuinely upset if we disappeared. But here's the paradox. How do you keep customers when their needs are a moving target? This catapults us into the second battlefield, product. A monumental misconception plagues modern business. The idea that entrepreneurship is about creating a product and then finding clever ways to shove it into people's hands. This is backward. True entrepreneurship is the art of listening to the shifting tectonic plates of customer desire and then continuously, meticulously fitting your product into the new crevices that open up. Think of it like food for a parent. A generation ago, your father's core need was caloric sustenance. You handed him a simple, hearty loaf of bread, and he was content. Today, your father's need has evolved. It's about pleasure, about health, about ethical sourcing, about experience. If you stubbornly hand him that same greasy loaf, you're not just failing to meet his need, you're insulting his evolution. Your business must be a perpetual research and development engine, a listening device attuned to the frequency of market evolution. The product is never finished. It is a constant prototype, forever being reshaped by the whispers and shouts of the battlefield you call customers. This, however, begs the monumental question: where do you get the people and the resources to execute this relentless adaptation? This is the breaking point for most. You cannot craft an exceptional product without an exceptional team. And you cannot build an exceptional team if the internal operating system is a chaotic, soul-crushing mess. This realization slams us directly into the third, most silent, and most decisive battlefield: operations and organization. This is the nervous system. This is where all data, all resources, every human being, and every piece of technology synapse together. Your organizational model is your secret weapon or your fatal flaw. If you structure your company into isolated silos, marketing in one fortress, R&D in another tower, HR in a separate bunker, you are constructing a modern-day Tower of Babel. Brilliant people in each department speak different languages, pursue different KPIs, and ultimately work at cross purposes, their collective energy dissolving into friction and frustration. Your primary activity is not selling. Your primary activity is building a coherent operating system where information flows seamlessly, decisions are made with clarity and speed, and every individual, from the intern to the executive, is pulling in the same strategic direction. If this battlefield is lost, you are in a permanent state of firefighting. You use profits from yesterday to plug the efficiency leaks of today, like using a bucket of boiling water to put out a chemical fire. The result is not victory. It's steam, a lot of noisy, hot steam that obscures the vision until everything evaporates. And to fuel that operating system, you need a specific kind of energy. This brings us to the fourth battlefield, where most entrepreneurial dreams get mercilessly crushed: finance. The pivotal question here is not, how do I get a lot of money? That's the amateur's query. The strategic question is, from which sources do I acquire capital, and with what specific philosophy do I deploy it? Let's confront a cruel duality. The priorities of the financially desperate are galaxies apart from the priorities of the strategically financial. The desperate seek money as a painkiller. They chase high-interest loans. They use leverage like a gambler doubling down, accelerating down a mountain pass with no brakes. Their money is used to extinguish the latest crisis, to make payroll this month, to silence the loudest creditor. It's reactive, short-term, and fueled by panic. The strategic thinker sees money as rocket fuel for the other three battlefields. They use capital to invest in deeper customer insight, to fund radical product innovation, to build robust operational infrastructure. Their spending is an offensive maneuver, not a defensive scramble. Their finance strategy is a blueprint for sustainable growth, not a series of desperate loans to keep a dying patient on life support. The source of your capital, whether it's revenue, equity, or debt, determines your master. Are you serving a volatile market or a demanding investor? The choice dictates your every move. When you walk into any company, your first task is to diagnose these four battlefields. If they are fortified, aligned, and thriving, you are looking at a business with foundational health. It possesses a strong immune system. It can weather storms, adapt to shocks, and seize opportunities. In contrast, dazzling growth metrics or quarterly profit spikes are merely top-level indicators. They can be as deceiving as makeup on a terminally ill face. A company can be growing revenue 100% year over year while its customer loyalty plummets and its internal culture rots. Don't let the glitter of the top blind you to the weakness at the root. Now let's zoom out and look at the grand landscape. We can plot every business on a simple matrix with two axes: growth and profit. This gives us four archetypes for destinies. The first quadrant, high profit and high growth, is home to the true magnates. These are not merely rich companies. They are wise companies. They have a fortified foundation and a clear path forward. Their wealth is a byproduct of their health. The second quadrant, high growth but low or negative profit, is the domain of the dreamers. They're the speedboats burning venture capital, convinced that market dominance will eventually lead to profitability. Their mantra is, "We'll monetize later." The existential question is, do they have the operational stamina and product market fit to survive until later? If their four foundational battlefields are weak, they will run out of fuel and sink long before reaching the promised land. Growth without a path to profit is just a controlled crash. The third quadrant, stable profit but no growth, is occupied by the legacy vehicles. They're the cash cows, the established brands chugging along on past glory. They still make money, but the engine has lost its horsepower. Their product is becoming obsolete, their customer base is aging, their systems are slow and bureaucratic. They are living off their capital, both financial and brand-related. And when that capital depletes, they will stall and be towed away, forgotten. Finally, we reach the fourth quadrant, the most tragic of all: no growth and no profit. The graph of this business is a flat line, or worse, a line creeping downward into an abyss. These are the bottom feeders, the walking dead of the business world. They have exhausted their hope. They exist out of inertia, stubbornness, or a lack of alternatives. All four of their internal battlefields have been overrun. The customer battlefield is deserted. The product battlefield is littered with the corpses of failed ideas. The operations battlefield is a swamp of inefficiency. The finance battlefield is a scorched earth of debt and desperation. They're not being killed by competition. They're succumbing to internal organ failure. The ultimate lesson, and the most profoundly personal one, is this: an entrepreneur without health, without continuous learning, and without a clear strategic mindset is indistinguishable from a bottom-feeder business. You cannot construct a resilient, thriving organization from a foundation of personal chaos, ill health, and intellectual stagnation. The business is a macrocosm of the individual. Before you can conquer the four external battlefields, you must first secure the internal one: yourself. Your business will never outperform your own psychology, your own discipline, your own vision. The journey to building a magnate-level company doesn't start with a business plan. It starts with a mirror, because the most important battlefield, the one that governs all others, is the one between your own ears.